Good morning, children, and welcome back. I'm Vishnu Priya, Principal TSMS Palmakula. This is the fourth session in the lecture series for Chapter 6, Biology in Human Welfare, taught by Ms. UZMA, AMATULLAH, PGT Zoology at TSMS Nawabpet. You may recall that in the previous session yesterday, a detailed discussion of the parasitic worm, Ascaris lumbricoides, was done. Its life cycle and the disease it causes, ascariasis, was covered. Today, we will look at another kind of roundworm named Wuchereria bancrofti. Like the Ascaris worm, Wuchereria causes a painful illness in humans, but it affects the lymphatic system. This illness is called filariasis or elephantiasis, named after the characteristic swelling of the leg it causes. This swelling can severely impact mobility and cause permanent disability. Thankfully, we know how to combat this disease because of studying its life cycle. Mosquitoes are the vectors for this nematode, so measures to prevent mosquito bites, such as using nets and spraying insecticides, can go a long way in preventing the worm from infecting you. It is very important for all of us to understand the life cycle of the Wuchereria worm and learn about the preventive measures, treatments available, and control. I request all of you to pay close attention to UZMA Madam as she discusses these concepts in detail. After watching this lecture, you should realize the importance of keeping yourself safe from mosquito bites. Without further ado, I request UZMA Madam to begin with the lecture. Madam, please carry on.
Thank you, Madam. Welcome back, my dear students of Telangana Model Junior College, to our another session. Today we'll be starting with another nematode. Now this nematode, that is a roundworm. Now here its name is Wuchereria bancrofti. Now Wuchereria bancrofti, it belongs to the phylum Nematoda. It belongs to the phylum Nematoda. Nematoda, all roundworms are in the phylum Nematoda. Now it belongs to the class Phasmidia. So this is the classification for Wuchereria bancrofti. Now Wuchereria bancrofti is a parasitic filarial nematode. Now here it spreads by a mosquito bite. That is, mosquito is the vector for this disease. And this parasite, mosquito is the vector for this disease. Now what is that? Which mosquito it is? Female culex mosquito. Now here you see this term female. Why the females are mentioned here? Because these females, they suck the blood to fertilize their developing eggs. It is not for, for the nutrition purpose, and nor they are taking shelter in the body of the host. So therefore, the mosquitoes are vectors, but they are not parasites. We have already covered in the last session, so the definition of vector, the parasites, that is, they depend for nutrition and shelter on other organisms' body. So here, mosquitoes are vectors. Now, it causes lymphatic filariasis, which is commonly called as elephantiasis. Now, the infection takes place in the lymphatic system by the filarial worm. Now, we'll see what is lymphatic system. Now, here you see the Wuchereria bancrofti, the definitive host, that is the primary host for Wuchereria bancrofti is man. And intermediate host is female culex mosquito. And the intermediate host is also called as the secondary host. So how many hosts this parasite has? Primary host and a secondary host. So it is a digenetic parasite. And it completes its life cycle in 2 hosts. Now, the infective form of this host, which form infects to human? That is 3rd stage larva. 3rd stage larva infects the man. And mode of transmission, how it is transmitted, how it is spreading from one, infected person to the healthy person, it is through inoculation. Inoculation means bite of mosquito. When the mosquito bites, you'll get the, if this mosquito is infected with the parasite, then the disease will spread. Now, site of localization, where these organisms live, they live in the lymphatics, lymph nodes, lymphatic system, lymph nodes of the man. And where this parasite, they are distributed in the world. You will find these parasites in India, China, Far East Africa, South and Central America. So these places where the stagnant water, wherever the stagnant water or proper sanitation is not done, these mosquitoes will breed and this disease spread. Now this filarial worm, the common name for this worm is filarial worm. Now here you see the parasite gets its name from two person who worked on it. One is a physician means a doctor, and another one is a parasitologist, means a person who studies on parasites. Now here these two persons, the parasite is named after physician Otto Wuchereria and Joseph Bancrofti, both of whom extensively studied this filarial worm. Filarial infections they studied and they found out this worm, and then they gave the name to this worm on their names. That is Wuchereria bancrofti. Now here, another person, his name is Sir Patrick Manson. He identified that female culex mosquito is the secondary host to this parasite. So the man is the primary host and the female culex mosquito is the secondary host. Man harbors its sexual life cycle and the female mosquito will harbor a sexual life cycle. Now habitat, where this parasite lives. Now what is lymphatic system? Here I will explain you. Now these worms, where they are present, these worms are present in the lymphatic vessels and especially the lymph nodes. Now here blood vessels we have studied in 10th class, and we have studied about the lymphatic vessels also. We have studied about lymphatic system. What are lymph? What is lymph? So here this green color you see, this is the lymphatic system. It is also, this network, this is, it is there throughout the body. Now what is the role of this? What is lymph? Now here you can see this one, this red color vessel. This is arteriole. Arteriole means the arteries that divide into branches to form arterioles. Now here these arterioles further they divide to form capillaries. Thin network of the blood vessels are called as capillaries. You can see this network here, red color one. Now here it is again, this network is joining to form a big, the diameter of these capillaries are increasing and they are joining to form a venule. Venules again, they join to form a vein. Now here arteries will bring the blood from the heart and veins will bring the blood from the body to the heart. Now here you see the blood from the arteries, from the arterioles will go into the capillaries. These are the tissues here. You can see the cells are there. Now this blood, when it rushes with pressure, there will be a pressure when it is coming from heart, because heart is a pumping organ. Now here, when it is coming, some of the, because of these capillaries are very thin. They are only single cell thickness. So what happens, this fluid, that is the plasma, along with some lymphocytes, it comes out. Now during midday meal, when the food is served, you eat it properly, even though some of the food gets spilled. Likewise here also, what is the function of these arteries and arterioles is to provide the blood to the tissues. Now tissues are getting, but some of the plasma will be there in between here in the spaces. Now, and then what happens, this green color one you can see, this is the net, these are the lymphatic capillaries. Now these lymph capillaries, they will collect this like a, like a suction or like a vacuum, it will collect, and then it will take it again back to the veins. They will again, they will join and they will supply this. They will bring this back. that lymph into the veins, and from the veins again it will come back to the blood circulation. So here this is lymph. So these parasites, they live in the lymphatic vessels and in the lymph nodes. What are lymph nodes? Here you see the these round structures are there, green color one, round structures. These are called as lymph nodes. Here you see. And now the microfilaria larva, the adult form is seen in the lymphatic vessels and the lymph nodes. And the microfilaria larva form is found in the peripheral blood. Peripheral means the outer, below the skin, the blood circulation, the blood vessels which are there just below the skin. That is called as peripheral blood. Now what is lymph? Lymph, from Latin, lympha means water. Lympha means water. It is the fluid that flows through the lymphatic system, a system composed of lymph vessels, channels, and intervening lymph nodes, whose function, like the venous system, is to return fluid from the tissue to the central circulation. Now here, in this left side picture, you see here, this is the circulatory system. Circulatory system comprises of a heart, arteries, and these are red color ones are arteries, and the blue color ones are veins. So here the circulatory system. Now next here you see this is the lymphatic system. Now lymphatic system, it comprises of lymph vessels and the lymph nodes, this, and lymph glands. So here these all together will form the lymphatic system. Now here, interrelationship between these systems. Here, what happens? The heart, which is pumping the blood to the arteries, and then these capillaries, again, they are joining to form the veins. Now, here you see the fluid which is there. That is the lymph. That is which is having the composition like the plasma. It is collected back through this through this lymphatic vessels, and it is through the lymph nodes. Again, it is going to the veins, and from the veins, it is again that fluid is coming back to the heart. Now here morphology. Morphology means the form, that is the shape, structure. Now what is the structure of this organism? The sexes are separate and the sexual dimorphism is distinct. Means both male and female, they look different. They show sexual dimorphism. And here you see they are having the male and the female are different. The body is long, narrow, filiform, creamy white in color. Now here the body is long. You can see the body is long. Narrow. Narrow means it is thin. You can see this how thin it is. And filiform. Filiform means filament-like. Filament means like a thread. Okay, and creamy white in color. So here the color is creamy white, but in this picture you see it is blue. It is because of the dye which is used to see it clearly. The anterior end is blunt and the posterior end is pointed. Here you see this anterior and anterior, posterior. In the last class I have shown you the positions. So this is the anterior end, which is the blunt. Blunt means it is not sharp. Here you can see it is round. And the posterior end is pointed here, you see. And the head end is slightly enlarged. Here it is thin, but when it is coming towards the head, this region is enlarged, little larger. And mouth aperture is simple. Mouth is having a simple aperture. Aperture means opening and without lips. But in Ascaris lumbricoides, there were 3 lips, 3 chitinous lips. But here there are no lips to the mouth. The adult worm live for many years, probably 10 to 15 years or more. Sexual dimorphism. Sexual dimorphism means in the same species, the male and the female, the different sex will look different. Here, this symbol is a circle with an arrow. It is used to represent a male, and a circle with a plus sign here. It is used to represent a female. So this is a male and female lion and lioness. You see how different they are in structure, in shape, and in form. Now here, sexual dimorphism, it is the systematic difference in form between individuals of the different sex in the same species. Now, the same thing happens in this worm also. They show sexual dimorphism. Now this male worm is shorter than the female worm. You can see this is the male worm. You see the symbol here, male. Now this is the female. Now here the male worm is shorter than the female. And it measures 40 millimeter long. Means it is not a microscope. You can see it through your naked eye. Now here its posterior end is curved with a cloacal aperture. Here is the posterior end and it is curved. You can see the female is having a straight, but the males are having a curved end, posterior end, and with a cloacal aperture. This is there is a aperture here, opening here, which is called as cloacal aperture. A pair of unequal chitinous pineal spicules or copulatory spicules is present in the cloacal region. So here there are two pineal spicules, or another name is the copulatory spicules are present, but these are in, the unequal means the sizes are different. So this is these are the points you should remember for male worm. The female worm. Female worm is longer than the male worm, measuring 80 to 100 millimeter long. You can see the female worms are longer and its measurement is 80 to 100, but in males are 40 mm. Now here its posterior end is straight. You can see straight end. Now anus is present near the posterior end. Here at this end, anus is present. That is the last part of the alimentary canal. Now, the female genital pore or vulva is present mid-ventrally at about 1/3 of the body length from the mouth. So, from the mouth, if you divide the body into 3 equal parts, then you will find that the vulva is present at the 1/3 length from the mouth. And it is ovoviviparous. Now, here the term, what is ovoviviparous? You might have heard oviparous means the oviparous means the organisms which lay eggs, and viviparous are those organisms which give birth to the young ones. But what is the meaning of this ovoviviparous? Now here it means the animals have the embryos develop inside the eggs that remain in the mother's body until they are ready to hatch. So here the eggs are there, but they are developing inside the mother's body. And this term is called, those organisms who are giving, and these larvae are released from the body. Now, this type of reproduction is called as ovoviviparous. Now, microfilaria. This is the larva of this organism. So here, this is the first stage. Microfilaria larva is the first stage larva. Now, where it is found in the peripheral blood. And often means most of the time you will often you will find it in the deeper. It will be there in the deeper blood vessels, but it will come into the peripheral blood vessels. Deeper blood vessels means periphery means outer surface, outer, and central means inner one. So here these larvae will be there in the central blood vessels, that is in the deeper blood vessels, but it will come to the peripheral blood vessels also. Now here size is 244 to 296 micrometer in length and 7.5 to 10 micrometer in diameter. So this is the size. Now body is transparent, means it does not have any color. It is colorless and it is covered by a hyaline sheet. Now here you see this is the sheet. A loose covering will be there, which is called as the hyaline sheet. So this larva is called as sheathed larva. Okay, now they can live up to 70 days in human being. They can live in up to 70 days. But if time is more, it cannot live. Then after 70 days, they will die if they are in the lymphatic vessels. Now here, microfilaria periodicity. Now, what is nocturnal periodicity? Nocturnal, these when the organism becomes active during night time. Now, here you see they are present in high number in the peripheral blood at midnight. What happens from the deeper blood vessels? They will come to the peripheral blood vessel during night time. This is called as nocturnal periodicity. It's an important question for your exam. Now, this is diurnal periodicity. Now, if the organisms are present in greater number in the peripheral blood during daytime, then it is called as diurnal periodicity. But this organism, this microfilaria, they show nocturnal periodicity. Now, here you see this life cycle of this Wuchereria bancrofti. So you have come across, first of all, you have seen where this, this organism live. It lives in the lymphatic vessels. Now here, this is a man with, the circulatory system. And then lymphatic systems is here. You see this green color one. Here, these are the arteries, red color one. The blue is veins. Now in between this, these are the lymph vessels, the lymph capillaries. Now here from this organism lives in the lymphatic, vessels. Now male and female, both adult form. Now this is the shorter one, this, this cream color one is male, and this black one, longer one, is a female. Now these adults, they are found in a coiled position. The male and the female are coiled one on one another, coiled together, you'll find. Now here what happens, they copulate. Copulate means sexual intercourse. That is, the males will transfer the sperms into the female body. Now here, after copulation, now what happens, the female will, this microfilaria, the female will release this microfilaria larva. And it is sheathed. Why? Because it is covered with a hyaline sheet. So this larva is sheathed microfilaria larva. Now, this will move from the lymphatic vessels into the peripheral blood circulation. Peripheral means the outer, just below the skin, the blood vessels are there. In that it will come. And it will just, below the skin, this larva comes and resides during night time. Night time between 10 p.m. to 4 a.m. And then what happens, that is a suitable time for the mosquito which bites you, because you'll be deep in sleep. Now here, this larva, that is this one, you can see here, it is there. Now a mosquito comes and it bites. Now what happens when it bites, along with the blood, it will suck this larva also. Now this larva, it will travel, it will go into the mosquito body, along from there into the crop. That is the alimentary canal of the mosquito. Alimentary canal is called as gut also. So here, this is the midgut. Mid means middle part. Now here, this is the midgut. So in the midgut of the mosquito, this larva enters. Now because of the action of the digestive enzymes, what happens, this sheet gets dissolved. Which sheet? That hyaline sheet which was there on the larva gets dissolved. Now this larva is free. It is without sheet. So now it is termed as ex-sheathed microfilaria. X means out, the sheet is not there, ex-sheathed. Now the sheet is removed. Now this is called as ex-sheathed microfilaria. Now what happens, now it will penetrate, means it will push itself out of this midgut forcefully, and it comes out from the midgut into the haemocoel. Here, the body cavity of the mosquito is called as haemocoel. So it will come into the body cavity. Now body cavity of the mosquito, insects, it is filled with blood. We don't have that. We have a separate body cavity. We have blood vessels through which the blood flows. That is, we have closed circulatory system. But these, the insects, they have open type of circulatory system. Open means the blood is filled, the body cavity is filled with blood. It does not have any blood vessels to take, to carry the blood. So here, in this, the haemocoel, this microfilaria, that is ex-sheathed microfilaria, will enter. Now, if along with that blood, it will reach the thoracic muscles. Thorax means the upper part of the body. Here you can see in this diagram, the upper part of the body here. This is called as thorax. So here, this is the thoracic region of the mosquito. Here it will reach to the thoracic muscles, and then it will get transformed into first stage larva. This one you can see. And this first stage larva is a sausage shape. Sausage is this one you can see to the left, extreme left side you can see here. These are sausages. Now here, in foreign countries, what they do in the intestine of the animal, they will fill the chopped meat and they will tie it from both the ends. And they will use it to, they'll cook it and then they will, eat along with it. Like a burger, they will eat this. So this is shape. I have kept this picture to show the shape. Here, this is sausage. So here, this is sausage shape larva is there. And this is called as first stage larva. Now, in the thoracic muscles, this first stage larva, it will undergo 2 times molting. First molting, it takes place and it will become second stage larva. Then again, second molting will take place and it will become third stage larva. So here, this third stage larva is long, very long, and infective also, infective to human being. Now here, this larva, third stage infective larva, it will travel and it will be there in the labium of the mosquito. Labium means lower lip. It will be there, and now when this mosquito bites another healthy person, this infective third stage, it will enter into the body of the host, man. And then what happens? From the blood circulation, it will travel to the lymphatic vessels. In the lymphatic vessels, again, what happens? 2 moltings takes place, third molting and fourth molting. Now this third molting and fourth molting, then it will become a young worm. Now this young worm, again, then it will grow in size and it will development takes place and then it will attain the sexual maturity and it will become adult worms. Now these adult worms in the lymphatic vessels, again they copulate and then the female, releases the sheathed microfilaria and that cycle continues again. Now here you see there are 2 hosts to this parasite. One is man and the other one is mosquito. Man is the primary host, mosquito is the secondary host. Man is primary host. Why? Because his sexual life cycle, the adult forms and sexual life cycle is taking place in the body of the man. And only the developments are taking place in the developmental, the stages are taking place in the body of the mosquito. So mosquito is the secondary host. Primary host is man, mosquito is the secondary host. Which mosquito? Female culex mosquito. Now, what is molting? We have learned in the last slide, moltings, first molting, second molting, third molting, fourth molting. So now what is molting? Molting refers to the shed of outer body covering. Now here you see in this picture, here you see the snake. It is shedding off its old skin here. And you can see a cockroach also. Now this brown color one is the older skin. And this white one is the new, which is formed. Now it is leaving its old skin, old outer shell, outer, exoskeleton, and it is coming out. So here this removal of that is covering, body covering, feathers, hair or skin is called as molting to make way for the new growth. Now here it is happening because this skin is non-elastic. When the growth is taking place, this is not, because it is non-elastic, it will, break, it will rupture and it comes out. So both animals and arthropods regenerate their external tissues during their lifetime because they're regenerating, they are making new tissues which we have just explained you in the life cycle work. Now here, this is the diagram which is there in your textbook. You have to practice this well many times until you become perfect. Now here, Adult worms are found in the lymphatic vessels, male and female. Now here, after copulation, the female will release this sheathed microfilaria, and which exhibit nocturnal periodicity, means during night time it will come to the peripheral blood circulation. Now here, when mosquitoes suck these microfilaria, then it will go into the body of the mosquito. In the midgut of the mosquito, that sheet gets dissolved, and then what happens, this ex-sheathed microfilaria will reach the haemocoel, that is the body cavity of the mosquito, which is filled with blood. Now, along with the blood, it will reach the thoracic muscles and transform into first stage larva or sausage-shaped larva. Now, this sausage-shaped larva, that is first stage larva, it will undergo first molting and it will become second stage larva. Then it will undergo second molting and then it will become third stage larva, which is long and infective. You can see how long it is. And then it will reach to the labium of the mosquito. Labium is lower lip. Now here, when mosquito bites, the larva enters into the blood of the man, bloodstream of the man, and then it will reach the lymphatic vessels of the man. Now there in the lymphatic vessels, again it will go third molting to become fourth stage larva. Then it will undergo fourth molting, then it will become an adult. It will transform into an adult, to the young one. Now these young ones, they grow in size and they attain sexual maturity to become adult worms. Again in these adult worms, again they copulate. So this life cycle continues. So half this here, it is taking place in the man. Now half of the life cycle is taking place in the mosquito. The sexual life cycle is taking place in the man's body. That is why man is the primary host. And the developmental stages are taking place in the mosquito body. So mosquito is a secondary host. Now, life cycle of Wuchereria bancrofti. What I have explained to you in the diagrams. Now this is the explanation part. You have to write it in your exam. This is very important long answer question. Now here, life cycle of Wuchereria bancrofti. Now it is a digenetic parasite, means it is having two hosts, primary and secondary, man and mosquito. It completes its life cycle in two hosts, namely man and female culex mosquito. Life cycle in man, what happens? Male and female, where they are present? They are present in the lymphatic vessels and they are found coiled together. Coiled. They are one on the other, they are coiled. And after copulation, that is after sexual intercourse, the female releases sheathed microfilaria larva into the lymph of man. What is lymph? Lymph is the watery, water-like fluid. Its composition is same as the plasma of the blood. Each sheathed microfilaria larva measures 0.2 to 0.3 millimeter in length, very small. And it is surrounded by a loose cuticular sheet, which is supposed to be a modified shell. And what it is made up of, it is a hyaline sheet. Now, this sheathed microfilaria larva migrate to the blood circulation. It will migrate to the blood circulation and reside in the deeper blood vessels. During the daytime, it will be there in the deeper blood vessels. But they move to the peripheral blood circulation during night time. Night, that is from 10 p.m. to 4 a.m. Now here, why they are selecting this time? Because the host, that is the primary host, will be sleeping during that time. So the mosquitoes can easily come and bite them at that time. Otherwise, if you are awake, you will not allow the mosquito to bite you. When you are deep in sleep, then the mosquitoes will bite. So this tendency is referred to as nocturnal periodicity. A very important question for you. Very short answer. What is nocturnal periodicity? You have to write this one. Now here, when the culex mosquito sucks the blood of an infected person, they enter the gut of the mosquito. Gut is the alimentary canal. Midgut means middle part of the alimentary canal. They die if they are not transferred to the mosquito within 70 days. If they are not transferred to within 70 days, if they are in the primary host. But after 70 days, what will happen if the mosquitoes do not bite and they are not transferred from this, from primary host to the secondary host, then they will die. So here, if you are not in contact, if you are keeping yourself protected, you are not allowing the mosquitoes to bite you, then after 70 days, these microfilaria larvae, they die, and that infection will not spread. Now, life cycle of Wuchereria in mosquito. In midgut, what happens? In the midgut of mosquito, the sheath of the larva gets dissolved within 2 to 6 hours. As the blood is sucked by the mosquito, within 2 to 6 hours, the sheath gets dissolved. Then, after the infection, the ex-sheathed microfilaria larva, ex-sheathed means there is no sheath now. Ex means before it was there, now it is not. Now here, ex-students means those students who studied before. So here, ex-sheathed microfilaria larva penetrates the gut. Penetrates means it pushes forcefully and it comes out from the gut into the haemocoel. Haemocoel is the body cavity of mosquito. Hemo, why this word is? Because it is filled with blood. The body cavity is filled with blood. It has open circulation, open circulatory system. They do not have blood vessels. Now here, it reaches the labium of the mosquito. Labium is the lower lip. And then what happens? From there, it reaches the thoracic. From there it reaches the thoracic muscle. From the haemocoel, it will reaches the thoracic muscles and transform into a sausage-shaped larva within 2 days. Within 2 days, now from up to 6 hours, the sheath gets dissolved, then it will move to the haemocoel. From there, it will come to the thoracic muscles, and within 2 days again, it will transform into a sausage-shaped larva. Now it is called as first stage larva or the first stage microfilaria. Now this undergoes 2 moltings 2 times within 10 to 20 days, and then transform into long infective third stage microfilaria. Now here, in man, after infection, when the mosquito bites a man, now this third stage, long infective stage, enters into the body of the man. When an infected mosquito bites a man, the third stage microfilaria larva enters the blood circulation of the man and finally reach the lymphatic vessels. Now here, this is the larva. Now you can see this sheet here. This is the microfilaria larva. Now here, they undergo the third and fourth molting, 2 times again molting in the blood vessels, in the lymphatic vessels, to produce young filarial worms. Young worms are produced. Then what happens? These young worms, they grow, they develop, and they attain sexual maturity. Within 5 to 18 months, means nearly 1.5 years. Now here, pathogenicity. What is pathogenicity? The disease-causing capacity, how this it causes disease, it is called as pathogenicity. Now, this is important for your short answers. It carries 4 marks. Now here, light infection. Whenever a person is suffering with light infection, means only few worms are there. Then what happens? They will have headache, mental depression, means these people will, they don't like sitting with other friends and all. They are low, they keep themselves separate. Mental depression. And then increase in the blood temperature. So these are the 3 symptoms if the infection is light, means only few worms are infecting. Then infection of the filarial worm causes inflammatory effect in lymph vessels and lymph glands. When these worms are there, they cause inflammation. What is inflammation? Means swelling, and in the lymph vessels and in the lymph glands. Now, what is inflammation? Now here, a condition in which a localized physical condition in which a part of the body becomes reddened, swollen, hot and often painful, especially as a reaction to injury or infection. Suppose if you fall down and if you get hurt, what happens? That area becomes red and there will be a swelling on it and it will be red in color and painful also. You can see here, this is a normal hand, normal size, and this is swelling. You can see this is a red also and it is painful also. Here you can see this one, it is painful. The muscles are injured here. So it is a condition where that particular part of the body becomes red, swollen, hot, and also painful. Now the inflammation of lymph vessels. This organism is present in the lymph vessels. So here, when they are there, they cause inflammation in the vessels. Inflammation means swelling, and it is called as lymphangitis. Now, angios means vessels, and itis means inflammation. Now, remember this word itis. You will come across this in future also. Itis means inflammation. So, angios means vessels, and itis means inflammation. So, inflammation of the lymph vessels is called as lymphangitis. Now, lymph glands. If the inflammation is there in the lymph glands, it is called as lymphadenitis. Now, adeno means gland and itis means inflammation. So, inflammation of the glands are called as lymphadenitis. Now, in heavy infection, what happens if the infection is heavy? Many worms are there. The accumulation of dead worms block the lymph vessels. If many worms are there, then what happens? They will block it. The water pipes, if they get blocked, the drainage pipes, what happens? The water will not pass through it. Likewise, these worms are blocking the vessels and they are, the lymph fluid will not, pass through it. Then what happens? The lymph glands results in immense swelling. Swelling takes place. Immense means, high intensity, excessive swelling takes place. This condition is called as lymphedema. Now, the Greek word oiedema means swelling, which is noticed in the extremities of limbs. Extremities means the, limbs of the body. Extremities, limbs, scrotum in the males, and the mammary glands in female. Now, body of the animal or human being, we can divide into head, neck, thorax, and abdomen. Now, here hands and legs, the upper limbs and lower limbs. Upper limbs are hands and lower limbs are legs. So here the extremities of the limbs means in the hands and the legs, last parts of them, it will be affected with this swelling. And what is this condition called as lymphedema? Now here, the fibroblasts accumulate in these tissue. Fibroblasts are the hard tissue. It will accumulate and this tissue becomes fibrous, rough. Now here you can see this person's, the legs are so rough here. The skin becomes rough. Now in severe cases, what happens? In severe cases, when infection is very high, then what happens? The sweat glands of the skin. Now, where the glands are present on the skin. Now, because this is, this swelling and because of the, blocking of these vessels, what happens? These sweat glands in the skin, infected region disintegrate, means it stops functioning and the skin becomes rough. Your skin is moist because continuously the sweat is released from the skin and it is keeping your body moist and smooth. But here what happens? There is sweat glands are disintegrated and then the skin becomes rough. This terminal condition is referred to as elephantiasis. Now here you see how the skin has become rough and it is looking like elephant's, this elephant's body is rough. So here it is looking like elephant's leg. So that is why this disease is called as elephantiasis. Here you see the hand, how it is. It has become this person's hand is also, it is because of the elephantiasis, this disease. Now prophylaxis. Prophylaxis means the preventive measures to be followed. Now here spraying of, now this parasite is spread because of the mosquito. So here you see spraying of DDT The full form of the DDT is dichloro, diphenyl, trichloroethane. And BHC, that is benzene hexachloride. So benzene hexachloride. So these two are the insecticide. You know, the word side means killing. Insecticide means killing insect. Larvicide means killing larva. Okay. So here insecticides at intervals at the mosquito breeding places. Now here, wherever you think that mosquitoes will breed, you spray these insecticides. Here, these places, stagnant water. This is the breeding ground for the mosquitoes, like pools, ponds, ditches, ditches, and stagnant water. Now avoid mosquito bites by using mosquito nets, and here this one, mosquito nets you can use. Now this is the safest method because there will not come across any chemicals here. And then using mosquito repellents which are available in the market, the mosquito coils and the, the all out, this liquid form, these are available in the market. You can use this to, eradicate, so that mosquito do not bite you. Now spraying of kerosene and pyrethrum oil on the stagnant water. Now on the stagnant water, if you spray this kerosene or pyrethrum oil, it will form a film on the outer layer of the water. Then what happens? It will cut off the oxygen supply, and the breeding larvae of mosquito will die because of suffocation. So these were the prophylactic measures. Now this is an important question for your exam. That is very short answer. That is, what are the biological methods to control mosquito? Biological means here no chemicals are used. In the previous you have seen the mosquito repellents, DDT and all. But this is the biological control using animals. Now here introduction of insectivorous fishes like gambusia into the breeding places of mosquito. This is a gambusia fish. It will eat the larva of the mosquitoes and also the insects. So if you introduce this fish, it will bring and keep this fish in the ponds, lakes, wherever you think the breeding places of mosquito, then they will control the population of mosquito. And planting insectivorous plants like Utricularia in the breeding places of mosquito. Here these plants, Utricularia, if you plant them, then what happens whenever insects comes, these plants will eat the insects. They will trap the insects and digest. So these plants are called as insectivorous plants. So Gambusia and Utricularia. Gambusia is a fish, Utricularia is a plant. Now these two are the biological methods to control the mosquitoes. This is an important, very short answer. Now here is the question. Now the answers for you. Here this is the difference between male and female worm. This is very short answers, and you have to write the difference. What is meant by nocturnal periodicity? That is, you have to write that is from 10 p.m. to 4 a.m. It will move to the peripheral blood. That is called as nocturnal periodicity. What is the difference between lymphadenitis and lymphangitis? These differences you have to write. What is elephantiasis? The terminal condition of the filaria. Justify. So you have to write about that all conditions, lymphedema and then elephantiasis. Now this is the essay, short answers for the exam. Explain the pathogenicity of Wuchereria bancrofti. These short answers will give you 4 marks. Now here the pathogenicity means all that conditions which, after infection what happens, that is lymphangitis, lymphadenitis, elephantiasis, lymphedema, all together you have to write because it is a 4 marks question. Now then this IP exam, there will be 60 marks, 10 very short, 6 short, and 2 essay questions. You see how the marks will be distributed. It will sum up to 60. Now this unit 6 is will be covering for 16 marks. In every section I am repeating this. So prepare this unit very well. This is the essay question, which is 8 marks important, and thoroughly everything you have to write here from the life cycle, the whole life cycle you have to write, and the morphology, the male and the female mosquito you have to describe, and in the man, in the mosquito, then this diagram also. Prepare well this diagram. So this is the life cycle of Wuchereria bancrofti. So with this, I have completed my session. All of you, I wish you all that you perform well in your exam. Okay, thank you, madam. Thank you, madam.
Thank you very much, madam. 1 minute. Thank you very much, madam, for the wonderful explanation of the Wuchereria worm's life cycle, the symptoms of the disease, and mentioning the previous exam questions as well. We will continue with the remaining part of the chapter next week. And the next topic will be a brief account of some other parasitic diseases following, which will move to the next chapter about animal diversity, invertebrate phylum. And I request all the students to read the textbook chapter thoroughly and watch the video many times. Thank you, UZMA madam, for the presentation, and thanks to all the students for attending. I hope you all will continue to participate in large numbers in the future sessions as well. And students can subscribe to the Model School Telangana Junior College YouTube channel to stay updated. Okay, thank you very much, madam.
Thank you, madam.